Welcome to episode 72 of Two Guys, One Sport. 6 dozen of these things. We're at a half dozen. That's a large number. George, did we ever think we'd get this far?
I didn't think we'd get past like 2 or 3 once we did the original fantasy draft of you booking,
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd do that, and here we are. And many thanks to anybody listening who's been propelling us along the way.
Yeah, thank you guys. To see Takers Media and MDS in the chat.
Oh my God, all the heavy hitters are here.
Yeah. MDS, congratulations once again on your coming nuptials, whenever that may be. Very, very far down the line, I'm sure, but congratulations on the engagement once again.
Do we say congratulations or condolences, my friend?
I'm pretty sure it's congratulations for MDS. His lady is a wrestling fan as well, and she likes New Japan. So I think that he's got a winner.
Oh, that's the dream.
Yeah,
that's the dream right there. You know,
go. He's living the dream. So, what do we got on tap tonight, George?
I have a Triple Mania review.
Yep.
The main event of Triple Mania, which was very textbook AAA, and I'll explain why. Then we should talk about the Mae Young.
Yep.
We should talk about Braun Strowman. We should talk about Stone Cold Becky Lynch.
Yep.
We should talk about Road to Destruction.
Yeah.
And if we have time, we should maybe talk a little NFL football.
I would like that.
It's 1 week. 1 week from tonight.
I would like
your
that very
Philadelphia Eagles open the season up by hosting the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I hope we freaking crush them.
And real quick, and I think we'll go into more detail next week. I see a lot of disrespect for the Eagles. This is still a good team. Take the over 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
Over under 9.5. Take the over. I mean, setting aside Carson Wentz, is he healthy? Is he not? There's still too much talent, especially on the outside, especially on the defensive line.
Oh yeah.
To not give the defending champs the respect they have earned and the infrastructure they have earned. This is still an incredibly talented team. I'm not at all worried about the Super Bowl hangover, all that garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Take the over 9.5. That's my first gambling tip.
The birds are here to stay.
Yeah, take the over 9.5. So we'll get there.
We will get there. Yes. Let's start first of all though with matches of the week, and as you said, Triple Mania main event is yours. Let's hear it.
Yeah. So the Triple Mania main event was a get this match format, Chris. 4-way aces match, they called it. Mask versus mask versus mask versus mask. Started in a cage. The first with escape rules. The first 2 guys to escape were free and clear. They were out of the match. They neither won nor lost. And then the cage was raised, and the last 2 guys had a regular match.
That's
a lot going on.
Weird as fuck.
Yep, a lot going on. So here's our 4 contestants. You ready?
Yeah.
L.A. Park, who is quite fat. I mean, even by L.A. Park standards, he is a large man. He is a fat skeleton.
Okay.
El Hijo de Fantasma, also known as King Cuerno.
Right.
Pentagon Jr. and Psycho Clown. 3 great men and Psycho Clown.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. The crowd loves them some Psycho Clown. Psycho Clown is very much loved by the kids. He had these 2 flaming fists in like the hang loose symbol, but they would shoot out fire in his entrance. Little kids love them some Psycho Clown.
Mm-hmm.
2 minutes in, this is a clusterfuck already. El Hijo de Fantasma does the climb the cage and then jump off the cage onto the 3 guys landing below spot, but he misses.
Oh no!
So his head bounces off the cage, the mat. He spends the next 10 minutes concussed or something. So,
oh no!
Yeah. Now you may be asking yourself, George, you said that if you escape the cage, you win the match. I did.
No, he jumped back into the cage, didn't he?
Yes.
Of course.
From the top of the cage.
Of course he jumped back into the cage. He did the Jeff Hardy.
Guess who lost this match?
It's a freaking El Hijo de Fantasma, right?
Let's talk about AAA. Now, AAA is a lot like WWE in that none of the shit makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
But at least AAA leans into it, and they're an entertaining train wreck.
Okay.
So at least they're like fun bad, whereas WWE is not often fun bad, you know? So let's talk about some fun badness. So they had a split screen, but the split screen showed the exact same camera angle, only in 2 different parts of the screen. And Miss Pentagon Jr. hitting a package pile driver through a chair.
Why?
So Pentagon and Clown and Psycho Clown escape like right away within like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So the other 2, the cage raises and the other 2 have a match. LA Park is dead. He's gassed because he's quite fat and old.
He is fat, yes.
And old. And they rip at each other's masks, try to like tease it. But the masks rip off so you can see their faces.
Oh, come on.
I know the unmasking is more symbolic than literal. This isn't like 1950. Like everyone knows who the wrestlers are in most cases.
Mexico, it's very different though. In Mexico, they still have a strict adherence to the.
No, I understand that, but it's like we know Psycho Clown is the son of Super Porky, even though he wears a mask. Like
yes.
Like we don't. Some of them we don't like. We don't know who Pentagon or Phoenix is or are. Excuse me. But like some of them we know. They are still strict, and I understand it is more literal or more symbolic than literal. But the gimmick doesn't work when you can see like all of your face from like the lips up.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Phantasma
major fail there.
Yes, Phantasma's bleeding like a stuck pig. They're doing like suicide dives and cool lucha stuff. Crowd's super into it.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about the ref, El Hijo de Tarantes, because even the refs are sons of refs in Lucha Libre.
Yes.
He's pro Phantasma. I'm not quite sure why. The announcing never explained why. But at the end, he turned face when Phantasma hit him with a lariat. But then he turned back heel when LA Park wouldn't shake his hand and he gave him the finger, and it was all confusing. But you know what? I'm parachuting in. It's not up to me to watch. I watch one show a year. It's not up to them to adjust their booking for the random casual guy,
Yeah.
Let's talk about the commentary, though.
AAA is one of those weird companies.
AAA is so it's a train wreck. Let's talk about the commentary. You ready for this commentary team?
Hit me.
Matt Stryker and Vampiro.
So it's Lucha Underground, but AAA.
Oh, except they don't know what's going on either. I wrote down three. I wrote down 3 Vampiro quotes, all of them having to do with animals. You ready? These are verbatim. I rewound to make sure I got these verbatim.
Okay.
You ready?
Hit me.
It's like he kicked the hornet's nest right in the balls.
Okay, I don't even think I want to hear the other 2.
I feel that if I write an autobiography, Chris, I'm naming it. It's like he kicked the hornet's nest right in the balls. That is the Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall of 2018. Like what does that even mean?
Yeah.
You ready for the other 2?
No, but I can't. I suppose I can't stop.
You're ready. You're a captive audience.
Yeah.
If you were in a safari and shot a rhino in the nuts with a BB gun, that's what LA Park is.
Okay. I mean, that one at least makes some sort of anatomical sense.
I don't understand what his fixation with animal balls are.
It's Vampiro.
The last one does not involve animal balls.
Thank God.
You're talking to a guy who's a bull shark, not a great white shark, one that is even meaner, a big daddy of a shark. That's him talking about himself. Because the ref, he wanted to slap the ref for being pro Phantasma.
Yeah.
Remember when I said this was an entertaining train wreck?
Yeah. Well, this is the train wreck half of it.
This is the train wreck. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did the cool lucha spot where, how if you unmask before the match ends, it's a DQ. Mm-hmm. So the heel will take his mask off and throw it down and lay down, holding his face, trying to get the DQ. You know, you've seen this. So El Hijo de Phantasma did this spot, but then LA Park went in the ring and he did the same spot too. And so the ref walks the ring and he sees both guys laying there holding their face with the masks down. And he lifts Phantasma's arm and everyone goes, boo, no. And then he lifts Park's arm and everyone goes, yay, cheer. And then he throws the masks at both guys and does the get up.
Wow.
I don't understand what's going on. LA Park won with like a schoolboy roll-up. Highlights of the match were El Hijo de Fantasma, son of Fantasma. He was like 6, and he walked in the ring with
El Hijo de King Cuerno. Let's just
El Hijo de King Cuerno, after his dad lost, gave LA Park the throat slash symbol. You know, like, all right, cool. I love Lucha Libre. I love Lucha Libre with all my heart.
Yeah.
Like, and then he unmasked, and he looks just like Tama Tonga.
Nice.
He's a handsome-looking Tama Tonga.
Like Rush, by the way.
Yeah, of course. There's like 7 families who all do lucha, and they're all related.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, cool. Then we have to talk about the best part of this match. After the match, Dr. Wagner comes out, and he's wearing his singlet and a full-length brown mink coat. He looks like a combination of a pimp and a Jedi Knight.
Because he's Dr. Wagner.
Dr. Wagner. He's the greatest.
Yes.
So he comes out and he goes, in his awesome have you ever heard Dr. Wagner talk? He's got that cool, gravelly, super deep voice.
Yes.
Like he sounds like he smokes like 4 packs of Reds a day for 50 years.
Yeah.
And he comes out and he's cutting this promo, and Vampiro's not translating. He's just saying, okay. Like, come on, man. At least translate. You're doing an English feed. So apparently, Dr. Wagner said, next year's Triple Mania, hair versus mask. Your mask versus my hair. And LA Park...
Because he clearly hasn't lost enough already after being unmasked.
And LA Park no-sold the shit out of him. And he's like, I don't want your hair. I only collect masks. You have no mask. You have nothing for me. And then he walks out.
Nice.
Because LA Park is awesome.
Nice.
He's the greatest person.
I mean, we have so many greatest people, but LA Park definitely meets the qualifications.
Yeah, he gives none of the fucks. And I don't know how to rate this match because it wasn't very good. But you know what? For 45 minutes on a Saturday night / Sunday morning.
Oh, 45 minutes. Oh.
Well, start to finish with the intros and the Dr. Wagner. Like, the match itself was like maybe 20-ish.
Okay.
You know, but after the match, no. After the match, they do the unmasking, and that takes a while. Then Dr. Wagner talks about how great of a man El Hijo de Fantasma and his father is. And then El Hijo cuts a promo. Yeah, the whole thing, start to finish, was like 45 minutes. The match itself was not 45 minutes because it would have been a complete. Poor LA Park would have had like an aneurysm if he was out there for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But for 45 minutes on a Saturday, I was entertained. And sometimes, man, that's all you can ask for.
I guess so.
Sometimes in professional wrestling, all you can ask for is an entertaining train wreck.
I guess so.
So that's AAA, an entertaining train wreck.
Yeah.
Chris, what you got for us?
Well, mine is not an entertaining train wreck. Mine is a religious experience. Arbitrary August obviously only happened once because we had it the first week of the month. Then we took a week off, and then we had 2 straight weeks with guests and too much content to have matches of the week, so we didn't have a match of the week. I was about to do the random number generator, and then I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let me just pick a match that I liked. And so we have Kota Ibushi versus Tomohiro Ishii from the G1 Climax 2018. Holy fuck.
What match was this again? I'm sorry. You cut out for a second.
Ibushi Ishii.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not going to run through the whole match because you just need to watch it. But I'm going to talk about one very specific thing about this match that made it one of the best matches of the whole tournament. These two guys are cut from the same cloth throughout the entirety of the tournament of being two guys who just don't give a shit how much punishment they take, and they will just let themselves be beaten into the ground so that they can come back again and win. And that was the story of this match the whole time. 2 great moments, which were the same moment but with different different end results. Once at the beginning of the match, like within the first 5 minutes, when they had their whole big strike exchange and neither one of them able to best the other. And then Ibushi finally gets the upper hand, and he's throwing elbows, and he's throwing elbows, and he's throwing elbows. And Ishii, because he's Tomohiro Ishii, the greatest man that ever lived, he's no-selling the hell out of these things and just standing there and staring Ibushi in the eyes like, yeah. And so Ibushi's like, all right, screw it, I'll kick him. He kicks him right in the chest. And Ibushi just fires right back with an elbow of his own and just cold cocks him. Ibushi's dead on the ground. And it's just like, I'm Tomohiro Ishii. You can't kick me. You try to up your game, I'm going to knock you the hell out. And then later in the match, we have another moment where Ibushi has the upper hand, and he's, Ishii is trying to get back up. He's on his knees. He's trying to get back up, and Ibushi just keeps kicking him in the chest again and again and again. Just keeps kicking him and kicking him and kicking him. And finally, Ibushi makes it back. Ishii, these I names that also end with I are just. It was such an exciting match that I'm gonna just keep screwing him up. But Ishii finally makes it back to his feet. Ibushi kicks him one more time, and Ishii cold cocks him again with another elbow. But this time, immediately after Kota hits the ground and is out dead, Ishii immediately then grabs his chest and is like, oh my God, my ribs are collapsed. Because he sells on offense like a champ.
Ishii, the two things that he does the best in the world that I love are the comeback, hit the big move, and then die.
Yeah.
And kick out at one.
Yes.
Nobody times the kick out at one better than Ishii.
Oh, yeah.
He does it at the perfect time, and the crowd always gets into it, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. The guy is a singularly great performer in a generation of great performers. He really is. He is one of a kind. There is nobody quite like Tomohiro Ishii, and there's no one like Kota Ibushi either. Both of these guys are incredibly unique talents. Ibushi wins it with the knee, and it's a very, very entertaining 20-minute match. Highly recommended. If you did not catch much of this year's G1, this is a match to go back and watch. Again, I'm not recapping the whole thing because it's too much to recap. Even in the space of just 20 minutes, it's too much to recap, and it's just too damn good for words to do it justice. Watch the whole thing, start to finish, and you will see these guys are two of the best in the world. And New Japan is lucky to have both of them on the roster, even though Ibushi's only part-time. These two guys, they beat the shit out of each other too. That's the other thing. Like this match is between two guys who don't know how to not work stiff. So they were hitting hard. One of the things that I love though is the contrast of attitudes in how they approach their strikes and exchanges. You see it in the beginning, especially when they're going with the forearm strike exchanges. Every time Ibushi goes to hit he winds up. Like he has the little wind up before he hits the forearm, and Ishii just goes straight from the hip and just goes straight into the face, and it's just as effective because he's Tomohiro Ishii and he's the Stone Pitbull, and he hits like a Stone Pitbull, so it hurts no matter how hard he hits you. So that part of it I love especially because. Seeing the contrast of styles between these two guys, even though Ibushi is the taller man and definitely has the greater range, Ishii, with one short strike, can hit you just as hard as Ibushi winding up and hitting you with his whole arm. It's amazing to watch. So the little stuff like that, well worth the watch. Go check it out. Kota Ibushi versus Tomohiro Ishii. I believe it was July 28th was the night that it took place. Yes, July 28th. Was the night that match took place. Well worth the watch. You guys will love it.
That reminds me. You want to call an audible real quick on the show?
Sure.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. Do you have, speaking of Kota Ibushi, do you have any all-in thoughts?
Oh, that's
super
right.
Fast.
That is actually this weekend.
Yeah. I know we got a lot going on and we have a lot to get to. I don't want to get sidetracked.
Certainly.
Give me like your 3 minutes of all-in thoughts.
3 minutes of all-in. Okay.
I mean, if you got more, give me more. But I'm just saying.
All right. Number one, Kenny Omega putting himself in 2 matches one night.
What's the second match?
Wait, never mind. No. Why am I thinking that he was in with the gold? Okay, that's right. Golden Elite because it's Kota.
It's Ibushi and the Bucks.
Ibushi and the Bucks. Yeah, I don't know why I got that messed up there.
Yeah, versus Phoenix, Mysterio, and Bandito, which is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, but yeah, Omega versus Pentagon Jr. is a main event worthy of selling out a 10,000-seat arena.
Yeah,
so. Excellent choice.
There's like a 5% chance I go to this show.
Mm-hmm.
I have a guy who knows a guy sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, very slight, but not impossible.
Yeah.
I'm trying to milk something.
Right.
I'll let you know if I do though for sure. But go on. I'm sorry.
For sure. Yeah. Omega versus Pentagon. That's a main event that's worthy of anything, and I'm really glad that New Japan is putting it on the world so that I can see that, because that's a match you probably wouldn't see anywhere else. By the way, New Japan putting it on the world, incredibly smart move by them. Very smart move. Well done. Mm-hmm. That is something that they can then put in their caps for later when WWE comes calling to the Jacksons and Kenny, and they can say, hey, we put your show on our network, which we did not have to do, and we gave you the #1 performer in our company in Kaz Okada to perform at this show as well. So keep that in mind if you ever want to book another one of these kinds of shows. The over budget battle royal will be stupid unless Neville shows up.
In the bear suit.
I hope he does. No, not in the bear suit. Fuck the bear suit.
No, well, I'm saying the winner will be in the bear suit, and we'll take the bear hat off, and it'll be whomever the winner is, either
really?
Flip Gordon or Neville. Because that's
the bear is actually in it.
No, there's like 11 people announced for it.
Yeah, it's
5 spots.
Yeah,
one of them will be Bernard the Business Bear. Everyone pop. The bear will win. What's his name will come out and say, all right, Mr. Bear, you ready for your Ring of Honor shot? And he'll take the bear hat off, and it will either be Flip Gordon or it'll be Neville. Like that's an easy story to tell, because Flip's not on the show, and he's that's an easy way to get Flip on the show.
I don't want Flip to be on the show. Whatever.
Well, you'll get the bear on the show, and Flip and Jay Lethal isn't bad.
I suppose. I think Flip is just terrible, but whatever. I really wish that they had more women's matches. I understand, obviously they lost Deonna Purrazzo, and some of their options were definitely hamstrung in that regard. But I wish that they had more than.
Tell us about this 4-way. You're the women's expert of the two. Tell us about this 4-way.
Madison Rayne versus Britt Baker versus Chelsea Green versus Tessa Blanchard. 4 great talents. Unfortunately, all of them are either friends or romantically involved with the guys organizing the show. So, and the other women who are on the show, of the other 2 women who are involved with the show, well, actually, no, that's not true, because Jordan Grace is in the over budget battle royal. But Brandy Rhodes also involved with Cody Rhodes, one of the organizers of the show. So it's, and kind of Jordan Grace, I don't know how much you can count for her as well, because she's dating Jonathan Gresham, who is in ROH and is probably good friends with all the guys who are on this show as well. So Jordan
Grace, by the way, great Twitter follow.
Yes, she's awesome. She is awesome.
Twitter follow. Yeah,
but it feels like they might have kind of taken it a little easy in terms of going out of their way to book good female talent. And that's not to say anything against these women. These are all great, very talented women. But I feel like they could have maybe pushed a little bit harder to get some people who are a little bit more outside the box, maybe gotten some more of the people from Women of Honor, maybe tried to push the Stardom connection to get some of the Stardom girls over there. But yeah, what do I know? You only have so much money.
Like Chris Wolf or someone like that.
Yeah, that would, if you had gotten Chris Wolf on this show, that would have been huge. That would have been a big deal, because now that she's back in the States full time, she needs to make an impact. So that would have been a good way to give her a platform for a lot of people who aren't as familiar with her career, because of the fact that it's been spent almost entirely in Japan.
Who do you think wins this match? Oh, I'm sorry, go on.
I didn't really have much else. As far as who wins the match, I feel like it almost has to go to Britt Baker at this point, because Madison and Tessa are both, Impact talent and are both not really long for the indie scene at this point. Chelsea is WWE bound quite easily. I feel like Britt Baker almost has to win this match. But what do I know? They might not be booking this with the mindset of, enhancing indie talent to further their indie careers. So I don't even know. For all I know, they could give Chelsea the win to give her, a nice feather in her cap before she heads off to the Performance Center. So who knows?
Is she confirmed?
She's not confirmed, but she is confirmed as having had a tryout very recently, and she's been very high on their radar. And plus, the Zack Ryder connection too. So
yeah.
Okada versus Marty Scurll should be a fun time. I'm looking forward to that. Joey Janela versus Hangman Page should also be a fun time. Although it being a Chicago street fight now kind of makes might make it a little bit strange. But if we get a payoff of Joey Ryan showing up, then it'll be worth it.
I am sneaky excited for that Joey Janela Hangman Page match. I'm actually really excited for that match, to be honest. Yeah, I think, I mean, Janela in a street fight, the guy's just nuts. You know, like if he has to go through 2 tables to get a match over, he'll go through 2 tables. Like that's not in dispute. And I've been singing the praises of Hangman Page for 6 months, and he's only gotten better with each match. Like this is the most important match he's ever had on this show.
Yeah,
I feel that it's safe to say more important than any bullshit he's done in Ring of Honor. More important than any of that other crap. Like. Yeah. But and I feel that he and Janela will have a great match. I'm very, very not even cautious, but I'm just optimistic that they will perform and have a great 12-minute banger with a little color, some table spots, and you know what I mean? Like I think that'll be a fun match.
I feel like
maybe not, it won't be no 4.5 or anything technically great. But I could see me watching that match Monday or whenever, because I'll be out all day Sunday. Me watching that match Sunday going, that was a damn good match.
See, having seen a Joey Janela death match versus Jimmy Havoc live, I don't know how well Hangman Page can measure up in that regard, but maybe
Page is big enough he can throw him around and make it look good, and
Yeah, but we don't know really what his proficiency is when it comes to introducing foreign objects into the fight. That's really my concern.
He and Punishment Martinez had a good little street fight at the Ring of Honor show in New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's Punishment Martinez is, not great, charitably, in the ring. So,
and
another match I'm looking for. Oh, go on. Finish up, and I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to.
Last thought is, I'm glad that they put Stephen Amell with Christopher Daniels, but that match is not going to be very good. But whatever.
I think it'll be. Look, if there's anyone in the world you're going to put Stephen Amell with and have a one-on-one match, it's Christopher Daniels. The guy's been doing this for 25 years, right?
True.
He's wrestled all over the world, all different styles. He and Amell have planned out every single spot like they're in NXT. Like, Amell is busting his ass and getting into shape. If you follow his Instagram stuff, he's doing real core stuff, not just show off stuff.
Yeah.
And Chris Daniels couldn't have a 3-star match with a broomstick.
That is true.
I've seen it. So I'm not expecting. I think this will surpass the low expectations people have. But if it's 8 minutes in and out, that's totally fine. 8 minutes in and out, Amell gets the pin. Bada boom, everyone's happy. Front page of TMZ, whatever. Let's all move on with our lives. Chris Daniels is too good for it to be embarrassing. It will not be embarrassing.
Okay.
I don't even think it'll be bad. I think it will be an average professional wrestling match.
All right,
good. 2018. Will it make our match of the year ballots? No chance in hell. But will it be something at the end? We'll be like, hey, no, that wasn't terrible. Yeah. And that's the ceiling for a Stephen Amell match. The stuff he did with Wade Barrett and Cody Rhodes, and who was the fourth in that match? Shit. It was Wade Barrett and Cody Rhodes versus Stephen Amell and someone.
And Neville.
3 years ago. And Neville.
Yeah.
He wasn't bad. They planned everything out ahead of time, which is totally fine. I'm not against that. Don't get me wrong. I could see this being okay. One more thing I want to talk about, and then we'll move on. If Okada Marty Scurll is a serious match, I could see it being a 4.25, 4.5.
Right.
If it's the wacky comedy shit, I could see it being fun but not very good. Does that make sense?
Yes, I agree with that. Yes.
If they do serious business, Marty Scurll from the Best of Super Juniors versus Okada from the G1, I could see this being holy shit, because it's Kaz Okada, guys. I'm not betting against Kaz Okada ever. I'm not doing it. I'm done. I put my head in the crocodile's mouth way too many times over the years betting against Kaz Okada. I'm done. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
And obviously the main event and the sixth man are going to be low-key awesome.
As long as Nick Jackson is not still suffering from flu symptoms.
Yeah, that looked bad.
But I mean, Matt and Kota can easily cover for him if need be.
And Nick made the flight, which is like half the battle. So get well soon.
Yeah. Back to the show proper.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to add, you said Kota Ibushi, and I wanted to pick your brain for a minute.
That's fine. No, as I'm actually kind of annoyed with myself that I didn't remember that was this weekend and figured we should cover it. So yeah, that's actually good that you got that. Thank you for that. And meanwhile, Taker's Meeting is giving out push-ups to people in the chat as they're showing up late. So ease up a little bit. 25 might be a little bit too much.
25 is tough, Takers, but I appreciate the spiritism.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 15. Maybe 15. Take it easy on some of the guys like me who are definitely out of shape. But everybody who's in the chat, thank you guys for being here, of course. We love having you all here.
And if you're listening and you don't already subscribe to our YouTube, click the little subscribe button.
Yeah.
And if you're listening, click the little thumbs up like in the YouTube thing. We like that. YouTube has these weird-ass algorithms, and we want to make sure that we keep, as high as humanly possible.
Yes. Make sure people can find us. That is the most important thing. All right, let's talk about what do we want to do first?
You want to do Braun and Becky?
Yeah, let's talk Braun and Becky first. Let's do the Braun Strowman conundrum here.
Sure.
So, as a lot of you know by now, at SummerSlam, Roman Reigns defeated Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship, and Braun Strowman was made to look like an idiot because he got beaten down on the outside and his briefcase got thrown up to the Tron. So the next night when he tried to cash in again, he was again interrupted, this time by Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins coming down and the Shield reuniting to take him out and prevent him from cashing in, or finishing his cash in, I should say, because the bell never rang. So this week on Raw, Roman came out with the title, said, "Meet Shaq, get out here, or else this is going to turn into an open challenge." Braun comes down, says, "I'm not cashing in on you tonight. I'm waiting for a place where your buddies can't get to you, and we're going to have a match at Hell in a Cell."
Perfectly valid.
Perfectly valid.
And logical.
Yes. Now, for whatever reason, WWE thought it was a good idea to put Baron Corbin in charge of something. And so he is now the acting GM of Raw, while Kurt Angle is on vacation.
And he's still wrestling too, which is like the double whammy of shit.
Yeah. So Corbin puts Braun and Roman in a tag match together against Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. And Roman gets beaten down for the vast majority of the match, then finally gets the tag to Braun. And Braun, instead of coming in as a hot tag, mounts over the top rope, stares down Ziggler and McIntyre, and then just starts beating the crap out of Roman because, he comes over the top rope and then he stops. And then McIntyre and Ziggler beat the crap out of Roman, and then Braun joins in on beating the crap out of Roman because that's how that works. And then
go on.
Ambrose comes down, he gets beaten down. Rollins comes down, he gets beaten down. The three of them stand tall. And now we have a six-man scheduled for this coming Raw between Strowman, McIntyre, and Ziggler versus The Shield. So, yeah.
I thought that was smart of the company to turn Braun Strowman babyface turn him heel by not having him not be the hot tag.
Well,
because if he had just like turned heel right then and there, or at the beginning of the show, it wouldn't have worked. I think
that's the problem, though, and this is why I call it the Braun Strowman conundrum here, because everybody and their mother on the internet who's talking about this is talking about this like they're making some hot fresh babyface act into a heel and killing their push with a sudden character shift, forgetting the fact that Braun spent the past month torturing Kevin Owens and bullying him up and down the United States of America, every show that they went to. and then ending that all when a 2-minute squash at SummerSlam, which led to Kevin Owens then challenging for the IC title this week, losing, and then saying, I quit, and walking out. So
I'd quit too if I took some of those bumps Kevin Owens took the past, 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm still not sure he wasn't concussed in that SummerSlam match, but that's neither here nor there. But that's the thing. People want to treat Braun Strowman, and this is part of the problem with WWE, is that the fans want to treat people as they are certain things, even when the story doesn't agree with it, just because they want them to be that way.
Yeah, they're writing fanfic. They're writing WWE fanfic.
And that's what I hate. I can't stand that they are trying to say that Braun Strowman was a babyface this whole time when all of his actions, and this is also partially on WWE as well. In the end, that whole Braun Strowman-Kevin Owens feud was a complete farce because they try to portray Braun as being the babyface because Kevin Owens has been a heel in the past. Meanwhile, every single one of Braun's actions, fucking up Kevin Owens' car, not the least of which, all scream heel.
Baby Chris, you are the laziest way to make someone a babyface or a heel is to have them fight with the opposite alignment while being the exact same person. And doing the exact same moves and the exact same temperament and the exact same promos, only on the other side of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's so, it's lazy and it's incomplete.
Exactly. And just because you do that, and just because you decide to act lazy and do those kinds of lazy actions, doesn't mean that your outcome that you desire at the end of the day is what you're going to get. Because Braun is still a heel. That was not a turn. That was just cementing his status. He already was a heel. And we didn't have, people who actually, want to go along with how the storyline is actually presenting people wouldn't have had a reason to cheer him in the first place. So why are we doing it like this? It just doesn't make any sense. And let's also not try and make this as being clear cut on the other side of the coin either, because the Shield very clearly are not acting as baby faces here. Ambrose and Rollins coming out last week to beat down Strowman and prevent his cash-in, that is not babyface action. That is old school 2013 Shield of old, when they were just running roughshod on the whole roster. Them getting beaten down by Strowman, McIntyre, and Ziggler as a combined group maybe makes them a little bit more babyface, but they're still not, their delivery is still not babyface at its core. Their style of in-ring work is still not babyface at its core. And that whole alignment that people are trying to say is black and white is very clearly all shades of
black and white.
Here's
what irked me. So Roman is getting beat down, and Ambrose and Rollins come out and help him, right? This was 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, 4 days ago, Rollins is getting beat down and nobody came out to help him. Does he not matter? Are they only there to help Roman out of sticky situations? Are they there? Is Rollins? Why are we not bailing Rollins out too? We bailed Roman out. It makes the Shield look like Roman and his two buddies, that's never been how it worked.
Well, I stand by what Tanya said last week, which is that Roman made the Shield what it was, and that if they had tried to have the Shield be with Cassius Ohno instead, they never would have had the clout that they did, because Roman was the force that made the Shield as dominant as it was. Yeah, Cassius Ohno can put on a good match, sure, but I don't think that he necessarily would have had the same kind of drawing power that Roman did when the Shield was in its early days.
What Roman did when the Shield was in its early days, and is that he gave the Shield legitimacy to a WWE only fan. If all you watch is Raw, right? You're like my dad. My dad doesn't watch Indies. My dad doesn't know who Tyler Black is. My dad doesn't know who John Moxley is. They could be sitting right next to me. I had no idea who they'd be in 2012, you know? But my dad sees Roman Reigns and he goes, that's what a wrestler looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That's the legitimacy that Roman Reigns gave to, remember, like the people like us, we're the minority. The people who watch Raw and SmackDown and Evolve and PWG and New Japan and All Japan and whatever. Like that's a really, really small percentage of the WWE audience. There is a huge chunk. I would even argue the majority of the audience that watch Monday Night Raw, watch Monday Night Raw, watch Tuesday SmackDown, and that's it. You know? So when they see Roman Reigns out there who 265, jacked to shreds, wrestling bloodlines, those people say that's what a wrestler looks like. And these two people next to him, they must be wrestlers too. Like, that's the legitimacy that Roman Reigns gave the Shield in its early days. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
He is like that bridge to the WWE fan who doesn't watch the indies. And I'm not diminishing that fan. I'm not playing that game, you know? But if you are just a WWE fan, you see a guy like Roman Reigns on your screen for the first time, and you're like, that's what a wrestler is.
Yeah.
So, but go on.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about it that
Chris Hero is not giving anyone that legitimacy.
No,
and I love
no.
Chris Hero. I love Chris Hero. But my dad sees Chris Hero and he says, "Who's the fat guy with the bad hair?"
Yeah,
like,
and the weird basketball jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing that I really am not a fan of with this, and it says this is actually a two-part thing. First of all, they needed to pair the guy who flips ambulances and tractor trailers with his bare hands. They need to pair him with two dweebs in order to take out the Shield, first of all. And second of all, Dolph Ziggler looks like a fucking moron next to Strowman and McIntyre. If it had been just Strowman and McIntyre, I would have been on board with that 100%. But Ziggler? Really? The dude has not been important or relevant for any reason in years. And every attempt to make him look important or relevant just ends up making the other people around him look worse. And he does not belong in there. If you wanted to put anybody else there, like literally anybody else, I would be perfectly on board with Luke Harper showing up on Raw next week because he's adrift and without anybody to call a friend now because of Rowan's injury. If Harper wants to show up on Raw next week, clothesline Ziggler out of his boots and take his spot, I will be 100% on board for that. Because that's a team that actually looks like it could be a threat to the Shield. That's a team that actually looks like they could be menacing to the most powerful force in WWE the past 10 years. That's a team I can get behind. You put Ziggler in that spot, though, and the entire thing just looks like a fucking farce.
I mean, it's been 10 years of Dolph Ziggler, and it's 10 years of the same stale gimmick and the same flopping around in the ring. And the only time you're ever interested in Dolph Ziggler is if the person or persons he's feuding with elevate him to interest. The last two times in the 5 years anybody cared about Dolph Ziggler were Survivor Series 2014 when he was the face in peril against evil Triple H and his lackeys.
Yep.
Right? And The Miz.
Yeah. And let's also bear in mind here, if Roman Reigns had not gotten a hernia 2 months prior and been put on the injured reserve, Dolph Ziggler would not have been in that spot. Ryback would not have been in that match either. It would have been Roman in Ryback's spot, and Roman would have been in Ziggler's spot in the actual match, being the one to win the match. So you can thank your lucky stars.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I'm gonna give Ziggler his due. He handled that role with aplomb. So yes. I mean, it's like I said, it's the first time in 5 years I gave a damn about the guy. That's impressive.
Yeah.
You know? So, but the problem with this, I don't think it's Ziggler. The problem is Ziggler, but I think a secondary problem is that now that Braun Strowman is a heel, he's doing the exact same things he did as a quote babyface unquote. Like that's kind of lazy, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like connect the dots, you know?
Definitely.
But
Nikki of the Spirit Squad. Good shout, Takers Minion. Good shout.
Yeah.
Problem with teaming up with Ziggler and McIntyre should make Braun look smart, but then he hands over the Money in the Bank briefcase to Corbin and looks dumb anyway. That's also true, Madeline. Great point there. The fact that he handed the briefcase over and couldn't cash in right then and there at the end of the night, kind of stupid. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, you make a guy look dumb. Like, I mean, usually baby faces in this company are the ones portrayed as morons. I don't like it. I hope heels aren't portrayed as morons too. You know, I would like no one to be portrayed as a moron, but hey, I'll take what I can get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's really, really frustrating to watch them. And let's also not let's not discredit the takes of people who have been talking about what Braun is capable of, because granted, Braun is not the most over guy in the company, like a lot of people on the internet are saying, but Braun definitely is over. Braun has been over for a very long time. He's not the most over guy in the company, certainly, but he is definitely over. However, for them to then, take these moments where you could make a guy, and let's be honest here, as we said last week, Taker, you'll remember this from last week's show as well. Roman Reigns is the guy who made Braun Strowman. Their feud made Braun. I will uphold that until my dying day. You had a chance to make him even further and bring him even further along, and you blundered it again. And you can't blame that one on Roman. You can't blame that on Roman. You can't blame that on the guy that the audience hates. This was all the writing staff's fault. 100% the writing staff. They made him look like an idiot, and people are going to say it's in service to trying to get Roman cheered, but Roman was already getting cheered. He beat Brock. He got cheered. The Shield reunited. He got cheered. He had a freaking incredible match against Finn Balor last week. He got cheered. If you're trying to say that this is all in service to quote-unquote getting Roman Reigns cheered, stop freaking lying to yourself. This was all on the writing staff just not knowing how to fucking say no to Vince McMahon. That's where it comes down to. Writing staff of 30 guys who all can't say no to the 70-year-old totalitarian in charge of the company.
And as far as we know, they are all guys, which is a separate issue.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, that is...
When's the Hell in a Cell?
The 16th, I want to say.
That weekend, 15th, 16th?
Yeah, the 16th. Yeah, the 16th, yes.
So we got 2 more Raws, right? Yeah. Three more Raws.
No, 2 more.
2 more. Labor Day, and
Labor
then
Day.
One after, and then the show. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I guess we'll wait and see. Like, I'm not thrilled, but the match, I mean, look, if I get Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman in a Hell in a Cell beating the shit out of each other, at the end of the day, I'll be happy.
Oh, yeah.
Look, here's the thing with WWE, Chris. And any wrestling company. I am willing to forgive illogical, nonsensical, stupid storylines if I get kick-ass professional wrestling matches at the end of it. Like, but I'm not really even getting that,
I mean, well,
but if I get like a 13-minute Roman Reigns Braun Strowman sprint where they just beat the piss out of each other for 12 and a half of those 13 minutes, I'm cool. But if I get Braun Strowman doing chin locks in a cage, I'm not cool.
No.
And I miss when Roman Reigns. Monday was nice. It was a nice start, or not? It was a nice step in the right direction. Or 2 Mondays ago, excuse me. But I miss when Roman Reigns had banger matches. Instead, he's being booked to take chin locks. Like, come on, guys, what are we doing here?
Well, the Balor match was amazing.
That's what I'm saying. That I hope more of that.
Yeah.
But, we got 6 months of him wrestling guys and getting rest holds.
They honestly this first month they booked themselves into a corner here because they put the briefcase in Braun's hands. If they hadn't done that, we wouldn't have this issue, because then you could have just booked the briefcases the way they always do, which is to, have it just be a thing that is kind of lurking in the shadows. But with Braun holding it, you can't just have it be lurking in the shadows, especially now that the title's back on TV every week. Braun is the guy that you can't just have, sitting in the back waiting. He's not a guy like a Sheamus or a Ziggler or a Del Rio who you can just, have him sit in gorilla and wait for his music to hit and then run out with the case. When Braun shows up, when Braun is there, Braun needs to be a presence.
I am. And by the way, I think I'm done with the briefcase for the next few years, anyways.
Oh yeah. No, the briefcase.
I think we can give that. Let's retire the Money in the Bank, and then 3 years from now, bring it back at WrestleMania. And I'll be back on board. I'm tired of the briefcase. I think it's been played out 16 ways from Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's overhyped, overdone, overwrought, and just needs to be put away.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Put it on the shelf for a while.
Put it on the shelf for a year. Give me a year off. Give me a year off in the briefcase, And then you can bring it back in 2021. Or, excuse me, 2020.
I like that idea, Madeline. Corbin tries to cash in the briefcase himself, loses again, and then Braun
squashes him like a bug.
Yeah, that I'm okay with. I'm okay with that.
Sure. Great.
All the same, I mean, that's about the only way to pay this off. And I mean, other than Braun and Roman having the best Hell in a Cell match that there's ever been in history, which will be very hard to do.
That's a very, very
the other way to pay this off in a way that will be satisfying. So, 'tis unfortunate.
Do you want to talk about Becky and Charlotte?
Yes, I do.
So, first things first. Let's start with the positive. Did you watch SmackDown?
No, but I did see the highlights.
Charlotte and Carmella had a match.
It wasn't a match.
The hey guys, Carmella's actually good takes. Let's hold our horses on those a little bit. She was fine. She was fine, which for her is a big step up.
Acceptable. Yes.
Yeah, the hey guys, Carmella's good. Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay, fine. Let's give Charlotte her due for saving Carmella's life on a suicide dive. Because that could have ended very poorly.
Yes.
Okay.
I think Charlotte is well aware of the importance of that, having almost died herself in a dive against Nia Jax.
Yeah, and speaking of dives, I think it's time Carmella, excuse me. I think it's time that Charlotte retire the moonsault.
They'll never let her do that. They'll never retire that.
The problem is, nobody ever catches her right.
No.
And the poor girl just keeps bashing body parts on the floor or apron or barricade, and it's ugh. You know what I'm saying?
Please, no more.
So,
please.
Let's talk about Charlotte for a second, okay?
Yeah.
Charlotte looks like a star, carries herself like a star, and can have good matches and is athletic. I think that's pretty safe to say, right? She can be hit or miss in the ring. Let's be fair. But yes. I've seen her have some great matches. I was in the building for one of them at WrestleMania, and I've seen her have some clunkers. I think that's a pretty fair assessment, right? I like Charlotte. I don't dislike her. A lot of people dislike her. I don't dislike her. But with her natural physique, build, moveset, she's a heel. She could be a totally fine babyface against cheating heels and lying heels like Carmella, or the 2-on-1 antics of the Iconics. She can be a totally fine babyface in those situations. But against Becky Lynch, it's never going to work.
Never.
Trying to get sympathy on Charlotte with natural babyface House of Fire Becky Lynch, and the fact that Becky Lynch has been portrayed as the face in this feud wrongly for scratching and clawing for a title shot that Charlotte was just gifted by winning a match, and it's never, ever, ever going to work. It's not. And did you see the clip on Twitter of everyone chanting "You deserve it" to Charlotte during the commercial?
Yeah. Well, that's not the first time.
It won't be the last time.
They did it at her after SummerSlam after she got her ass kicked.
They're going to turn her into Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
And they're going to drag down the Ronda Rousey match when the crowd shits all over that match at WrestleMania next year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have something with Stone Cold Becky Lynch, which is obviously me being hyperbolic. There's no one like Stone Cold Steve Austin, but
she's about as close as it gets.
She is a natural underdog babyface you want to get behind, so let's make her the heel. Like, meanwhile, she's wrestling someone who should be the heel and could be a heel in 2 seconds, but she's the babyface.
Yep.
Like, Chris, I know nothing matters, but sometimes things matter, you know?
Yep.
You want the end of the game, the end goal is to get Ronda Rousey over as a mainstream superstar by having her beat Charlotte in the main event in New Jersey, right?
Yep.
That's the end game. You're not going to get that with the crowd hating Charlotte. It's not going to happen.
Nope.
It won't. So,
and let's give I'll give the devil its due here. There are words going around saying that they are not going to keep trying to push alignments in this, and that they're just going to let the crowd decide, and that the whole line of Becky calling Charlotte a bitch at the end of this week's beatdown was just designed to get a pop and not designed to make Becky look like a heel. If that is the direction that they're going and they continue in that style, I'll be okay with it. But this still, we're right back to where we were last month. We're right back to where we were 6 months ago, a year ago, a year and a half ago. Every moment since the winter of 2016, we're right back to where we started, which is that this needs to end with Becky Lynch winning the title.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't freaking pulled the trigger on that since her second reign as SmackDown Women's Champion. And she's been just treading water ever since. This is the first time since that moment that she actually has started to show a moment of significance. So they need to freaking pull the trigger. They need to get away from this whole Charlotte is, God Empress movement that they have, and actually give Becky some credence. Because without it, she's just another face that is being used to give further significance to someone who we already know is a big deal. We already know that Charlotte is somebody that the company cares about. You've beaten it into our heads with a goddamn bulldozer.
3 years.
Yeah. In half the time it took Trish Stratus to win 7 titles, Charlotte has won 7 titles. It's a disaster for them to keep pushing this angle just because she's a Flair. And if they really wanted to give service to the Flair name, they would put Charlotte out there as the heel and have her embrace her father's best moments. That was her best run, was when she was a heel, and that week when she denounced her father and sent him packing, and then Sasha won the title off her a week or 2 weeks later, however long it was.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best.
Have her lean into it. Have her lean into the I'm the office favorite, and I'm the genetically superior one, and have her lean into that. We've seen how it works. Like, have her lean into it. Have her be a heel, which she's really great at, and have Becky Lynch be a babyface, which she's really great at, and see what happens. Like, here, one final thought on this. I see this all the time on Twitter and wrestling. You need to play your part as a fan and go with the storyline we're presenting to you. Okay, that's bullshit. Let me tell you why, Chris. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You go to a concert. You go to concerts. You've been to a concert in your life, right?
I've been to hundreds.
Okay, so you go to a concert and the lead performer of the concert is shithoused, right? He's just bombed, and he comes out.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and he comes out and he does a 30-minute set and he slurs the entire time, and it sucks. And you paid $100 for this concert, and lead performer is shit wrecked. Okay, if this was the WWE, people would say, "Well, it's your job to cheer and boo, because you have to cheer the baby faces and you have to boo the heels. And you're a fan, you have to perform your job to a role. You have to play your role." But Chris, in every other entertainment venue, you're allowed to boo if you're not getting something you want.
Exactly.
Like, if you go to a concert and it's a shitty concert, you're allowed to boo. If you go to a theater and it's bad, you're allowed to express displeasure. If you go to a movie and it's bad, you're allowed to give bad reviews. You know? Like, why are WWE fans expected to act differently than fans of any other entertainment medium?
Yeah. Just because something is scripted doesn't mean that we have to be scripted too. And that seems to be the point that WWE is incapable of wrapping their heads around. It's kind of unfortunate, but that is what it is. Madeline actually brought up a really good point in the chat, is that, if she is starting to get that kind of Roman Reigns reaction. But the problem is that Charlotte doesn't have a fan base like Roman does. That's going to be passionate and hardcore and intense about it. Yeah.
That'll walk through fire for her. Yeah.
Charlotte fans are mostly Charlotte fans because they're fans of good women's wrestling and they want to see good performers. And even in that crowd, I would estimate that the goodwill towards Charlotte is starting to wane a bit because of how much the company seems to be putting the focus on her, even as other women are continuously coming up to the main roster and continuously putting on great matches and still getting shuffled down to the end, to the bottom of the card. Despite that, one only needs to look at names like Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan and Ember Moon, and even let's just call a spade here: Bayley, Sasha, Becky, Naomi, who have been there, who are still getting shuffled down in favor of Charlotte and Alexa and now Ronda.
You know what the most annoying part about all this is? The storyline they wrote portrayed Becky Lynch as the sympathetic babyface, yet the payoff is she turned heel, and they're astonished at the reaction.
Yeah,
they wrote the storyline for Becky as a babyface, and then they turned her heel, and they're surprised that she's cheered as a babyface.
Yeah, that one, I don't know where they thought that was going. I really don't. Again, though, I have to call that out as being the writers' room being incapable of saying no to Vince, even despite the incredibly blatant illogic of that playing out in the way that they thought it would,
or that they don't plan anything more than a week at a time.
Yeah, Asuka too. Asuka too. Thank you, Taker. Yeah. Asuka as well.
Yeah, or that they just kind of just lurch from show to show without portraying anything as any sort of long-term stuff, and then you're missing out on the connective tissue that makes feuds good.
Yeah. Fonts, the TNA paying people in India to be in the crowd, that's actually a tradition more of India than of TNA. WWE did that as well when they did their tour of India. That's just a customary thing in the Indian culture, that you actually pay people to be part of the show rather than them paying to be part of it. That's more of a cultural thing than it is a TNA being broke thing or TNA being unable to find fans thing. That's more that was. But good point. All the same, it would be very interesting what WWE would be like if they did pay fans to be in the audience to give them the reactions they want. I mean, there have been plenty of accusations about there being plants in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is still something that could happen.
I mean, but they had Becky Lynch point out for months that she's climbing the mountain, and then they turned her heel and people said, wait a second, Becky scratched, clawed, and climbed that mountain inch by inch, and Charlotte took her dad's helicopter to the top. That's no wonder why people are cheering for Becky Lynch.
Right.
And you don't tell people what the story is, Chris.
Yeah.
You tell a story and they interpret it. If you're good at storytelling, your intent will match their interpretation. If I'm writing a novel, right, and I have character A, I want character A to be the babyface, and I write the story in such a piss-poor way that everybody reading the novel says character A is the heel, that's not on all of my readers. That's on me for being a shitty writer.
Yeah.
Like that seems pretty self-evident to me, Chris.
It's like that meme of Principal Skinner from The Simpsons. Is it possible that I'm out of touch? No, clearly the children are wrong. No, that's not how this works.
Yeah, if 5 million people read your story and say A, and you say, well, I wrote it to mean B, you're all dumbasses, No.
That's a surefire way to make sure that nobody else reads your story.
Yeah, you screwed up. Somewhere along the line, you lost something.
Yep.
Like, so. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it just astonishes me that they have this layup in Becky Lynch, and they're just going to keep doing what they're doing. So
yeah.
But here we are, my friend. Here we are.
Here we are indeed. And you know where else we are?
Where are we?
We are 6 days away from the first episode of the Mae Young Classic airing on WWE Network after NXT.
That was a awesome segue.
Thank you for that. I like that one.
Really great.
I'm proud of that one.
You should be. Go on. This is your baby. I'll let you talk for a little bit.
Yeah, we have ourselves 32 women in a single elimination bracket that will be taking place over the course of the next 7 weeks, 8 weeks. What is it? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it is 8 weeks. It's 8 weeks, and then Evolution is the 28th of October. So we have 8 weeks.
5 days before they go to Jeddah again.
Yep.
So, and if you don't think there's a coincidence between having an all-women's pay-per-view and then flying to a country where women are second-class citizens 3 days later, well, I got the metaphorical bridge to sell you,
Yeah, right.
But I don't want to lose the track. Go on.
Yes. So we are spoiler-free on this show, so we are only going to be talking about the first-round matches and giving our predictions about who we think is going to be advancing and how the later rounds will play out. The one exception to that, since WWE has discussed it and posted about it quite a bit, is the knowledge that, yes, Tegan Knox did, in fact, injure herself during the third round of competition. It was third round? Second round of competition, and was not able to continue, and so she was forced to forfeit that match. And again, Tegan, we wish you all the best in yet another recovery from another leg injury. Keep being kept out of last year's Mae Young with the ACL tear. It was heartbreaking. This one even worse because of being in the middle of competition and then being forced to bow out in that way. So Tegan, all the best for a fast recovery, and we hope to see you hopefully showing up on NXT sooner rather than later, and maybe winning next year's Mae Young Classic, the NYC3. We'll look forward to that. So let's go down these matches. I'm not going to go through every single one because there are more than a few of these that are between PC talents or no-name performers that we don't really have a lot of insight on, but I'm going to highlight some of the big ones. So in the first round, we of course have to start out talking about the legend herself, Meiko Satomura, taking on Portuguese phenom Killer Kelly in the first round, the bracket top left side. This is most likely going to be a win for Meiko, but Killer Kelly is going to have an opportunity here to give herself a really good match out the gate because she's a young up and coming talent. She's been all around the British wrestling scene recently, and this is an opportunity for her to go in the ring with a genuine legend and put on the performance of a lifetime. So this is the match where you make yourself, kid. Hope that you put on a good one here. Next up, this is one that I think you'll be able to give some insight on. Ashley Rain, better known as Madison Rain from Impact Wrestling, taking on Mercedes Martinez, the Latina sensation. This is going to be a solid fucking match.
Anything with Mercedes Martinez is a solid match. She's just a great term that Legends Lover likes to use is carpenter for a wrestler who just knows how to construct a good match.
Yeah,
Mercedes Martinez is a highly skilled carpenter.
Yes, not to mention the fact that she's going to be in the ring with one of the veterans of Impact, Madison Rain, who is synonymous with great women's wrestling from that company. And, I'll give Impact its due. When WWE was having bra and panties matches, Impact was putting on great women's wrestling on the other side of the channel. So props to them. Props to Madison for being one of the standard bearers of that division during a time when women's wrestling was laughed at by most mainstream outlets. And I hope that she's puts on a great match here. I don't know who wins because these are two veteran performers, and either way, whoever wins is going up against is probably going up against Meiko Satomura in the next round. So we'll see what happens there. That's going to be an interesting one. Oh, it was the third round. Okay, thank you, Taker. I missed that. I'm sorry. It was the third round. You're right. Moving down the brackets. Let's see. Ooh, a match that will have Progress fans jumping out of their chairs in excitement. Toni Storm versus Jinny in the first round.
Ooh.
A rivalry
that is straight out of Progress.
A rivalry that has been going for the better part of a year in Progress. And featuring two of the best women's wrestlers on the planet right now. This is going to be a hell of a match. I don't know who wins, though. That's the thing. Like, Toni Storm, obviously, a legitimately amazing talent. She made it all the way to the semis last year. If she wins, she's going far in the bracket. Simultaneously, though, Jinny, easily one of the best performers in the UK right now. Someone that WWE very clearly has their eye on because she got to perform at Access this year, and I think last year as well. So she's someone they clearly are very high on, and if she wins, she's probably going pretty far in the bracket as well. So I don't know how they play this. This is very interesting to see this in the first round, I have to say.
Yeah, it's an intriguing matchup. I'm curious to see what happens.
Make that shit the finals. I don't know if we can make it the finals, Fonts, but I could easily see that being a match that would be in the finals of any other tournament, easily. From a match from a rivalry that was long-standing in Progress to a rivalry that was long-standing in Impact, Mia Yim versus Allison Kay, better known as Jade versus Sienna from the Impact days. These two had some insanely good matches from back when they were facing each other in Impact. And this I would expect to also be an insanely good match as well. These two premier talents. Both of them have put in extended time on the independent scene. Both of them obviously cut their teeth in Impact and made names for themselves as standard bearers of the new women's division that no longer features names like Madison Rayne and Gail Kim and Kong on the regular. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two do. I don't know who wins here, though. Again, both very talented performers, both people that I could see going very far in the bracket. We'll see what happens. On the other side of the bracket, here's a matchup that I think is going to be a closet great first-round match. Rhea Ripley versus MJ Jenkins. We've seen Rhea Ripley before. She's been in the Performance Center. She made her debut in last year's Mae Young Classic and has been sporadically appearing on NXT TV since then. Has really become a staple on the Florida house show circuit, though. And she's undergone a complete character transformation. Last year, she was very much full-on white meat babyface. Now she has become very much so more a very intense and darker heel character, and she is intent on causing damage in the ring as she makes her way through her competition. MJ Jenkins is somebody that we don't really know a lot about. She's made a name for herself in the New York area independent wrestling scene, from Brooklyn originally, and scouting reports on her are very good. So I'm looking forward to see this match. I think Rhea takes the win here, but I think this is going to be a good breakout match for MJ. And I think this is going to be a springboard for Rhea to really start to move along in her push as she moves along in WWE, because they clearly have an eye for tall blondes, and unlike Charlotte, Rhea Ripley actually has some really strong character work to go with her in-ring presence. So I think Rhea is going to be in line for some big things coming out of this tournament. And we'll see how far she goes. Moving down to the bottom right side of the bracket, Io Shirai versus Zaya Brookside. This is very clearly Io's match. I really just want to highlight this because Zaya Brookside, being the daughter of Robbie Brookside, should have a chance to showcase some of her skills, but she's only 20 years old, so I don't think this is going to be much of a challenge for Io. I'm just really happy to see it.
It's more of a if she has a bad match with Io Shirai, then that's not a good sign.
Well, she's been in Stardom before. She's gone up against plenty of the other Stardom talent, and Zaya, for being only 20 years old, is quite talented. She definitely has the basics down and has some of the more advanced work as well. Her character is probably going to be a little annoying to some people because she's very much the happy-go-lucky young British girl, but she, by the same token, it works as a babyface character very, very effectively. The Japanese crowd loves her, so I think it could definitely work for her, and it gives a good opportunity for Io to show that she just has it. It doesn't matter who she's facing, she's just got it.
She's the ace.
She's the queen.
She's the ace. I mean, she's just.
Bow down to the queen.
She's really, really, really good. You don't need me to tell you that Io Shirai is really great at professional wrestling.
Damn straight. She is a goddamn legend.
So good.
Yeah. And last first-round match that I want to cover is Deonna Purrazzo versus Priscilla Kelly. I'm pretty sure Deonna wins this because she's signed and Priscilla is not. But this is going to be a good moment for Priscilla Kelly to make her case as to why she should be signed within the next year or so by WWE, being such a young performer, but already being on their radar with her work in Evolve and in Shine. Priscilla is definitely going to have a good opportunity here to show what she can do in the ring. A lot of her most talked about work has been manager work. So her in-ring stuff has kind of gone under the radar. So this is an opportunity for her to show what she can do there. And Deonna, this is Deonna's moment to show why she is so far removed from the character that we were seeing in NXT in 2015 and 2016. The girl who got TKO'd by Asuka with one kick to the head, and all the other things that she went through. Like she was talking about in this week's interview during the bracketology episode that aired last night. She wants to separate herself and her identity from that girl as far as she can. And especially wants to make sure that WWE realizes what a mistake they made in only having her as an alternate in last year's competition. So that should be exciting to watch. I'm looking forward to that one. As we get further into the brackets, here's how I see this kind of playing out as we head towards the quarterfinals and the semis. In the quarterfinals, I think the top left side of the bracket is Meiko Satomura's to lose. Because aside from whoever she faces in the second round between Ashley Rain and Mercedes Martinez, I don't think that there's a lot of competition for her there. So it's Meiko's to lose, that top left side of the bracket. Top right, it's gonna come down to either to the winner of the Toni Storm Ginny match versus the winner of the Mia Yim Allison Kay match is my feeling there. Now the winner of Mia Yim Allison Kay is most likely going to be facing the returning Caitlyn, who is coming back to WWE after taking 4 years off, I believe it was.
I think 2013. It's 5 years off.
Either 2013 or 2014.
Yeah, either way.
Either way, former Divas champion making her return here in the second Mae Young Classic. I'm pretty sure that she loses though in that second round match to whoever wins in the Mia Yim versus Allison Kay match, and then it comes down to the winner of Toni Storm Ginny versus the winner of Mia Yim Allison Kay. So that's what I think that quarterfinal works its way down to. Top right side. Tegan Knox and Rhea Ripley and Nicole Matthews are the names that jump out at me there. I could see them trying to give a little push to Kacy Catanzaro, but I don't think that they're going to give her that much exposure right out the gate because I don't think that her in-ring work is necessarily up to snuff. Plus, she's also tiny as hell. Kacy Catanzaro, for those of you who don't know, is only 5 feet tall. So I don't think that they put her on the spot that far into the tournament against performers who are going to be much more physically imposing against her. And then bottom right side it's going to be Io Shirai going all the way to the semis. All the way to the quarterfinals, and then see if she gets to the semis. She basically has to get to the semis. That's got to be Io Shirai there.
On that side of the bracket, it's hers to lose, I believe.
Yeah. I can say that whole half of the bracket is hers to lose. I could easily see Tegan Knox or Rhea Ripley pushing all the way to give her a challenging semifinals match, but yeah, that whole side of the bracket is hers to lose. So it's definitely more uncertain on the left side. Right side, it's Io Shirai all the way. I'm pretty sure. So, given those names, who do you think we see in the semifinals and the finals?
Io for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think Satomura.
Yep.
And then, shoot. I mean, I think those are locks. Not locks, but I think those are pretty clear.
Yeah.
I think those two for sure. I think it's a little easy. Well, we know not Rhea Ripley. Tegan Knox is in one of them, right?
Well, she gets knocked out in the
third.
quarters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought. Okay. Man, I don't. There's a lot going on here, man.
Yeah.
Like, do we think Rhea Ripley can make some noise, or do you think it's too soon for her?
I don't think it's too soon for her. I think that it's exactly the right time for her because I think they want to capitalize on the fact that she is a younger talent, but has also really developed into a very strong total package performer. So I think that they're going to want to start a push with her early and capitalize on it so they can get as much time with her on NXT as possible and make it, make it a run that lasts and is memorable. So that's the thing I think that will make all the difference is that putting her in the spotlight now, because she definitely made some waves last year. That match that she had with Dakota Kai in the second round last year was really good. So she made some waves, and she has definitely been picking up a lot on the house show circuit. So I think that this is going to be the time to, kind of send her exploding out the gate as a force to be reckoned with. Because like I said, they don't have anybody else like her. She's 6 feet tall. She has great in-ring presence. She has great character work. And the physicality of her in-ring style is unmatched right now. You would have to put her up against somebody like an Asuka.
She is, and I mean this in the absolute most positive sense of the word, a Haas.
Yes.
Like she is a Haas, and
yeah,
it's awesome to watch.
Yes.
Just as much as I like watching guys beat the shit out of other guys, I like watching girls beat the shit out of other girls too.
Yeah.
Like
fast forward me 2 years to the Rhea Ripley Asuka match.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Give me that, please. that's what I'm looking forward to, something like that. And I mean, that's not to say also that she couldn't have great matches with plenty of the other women who are on the other side of the bracket too. Give me a Rhea Ripley versus Meiko Satomura match any day of the freaking week. They'll kick the shit out of each other, literally. Both of them have devastating kicks. That would be pretty damn stellar. Pants just went out the window. Taker. Vacating the state, more like. Vacating the damn state.
That'll be damn fun.
Yeah. So yeah. And as far as whoever faces Meiko on that left side of the bracket, like I said, it's up in the air whether it's the Progress rivalry or the Impact rivalry. But something tells me that the Progress rivalry is going to end up winning to get that last quarterfinal spot.
Okay.
Because of the strength of NXT UK.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it would be the winner of that Toni Storm Ginny match from the first round.
Okay. Makes sense.
So
I'm with you.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff this Mae Young, and I'm looking forward to it. Even with some of the filler matches, there's some opportunities for certain performers in here to shine and to really have breakout moments here. Names like Lacey Lane and Tainara Conti and Ariel Monroe and Zatara and Zeuxis. Well, Zeuxis, I mean, she's a legend already in Lucha Libre.
Yeah, her resume is unimpeachable.
Yeah. But, she's going up against Io in the second round more than likely. So, sorry, Zeuxis. But, yeah, I mean, this is a moment for some of the, young PC talents and for some of the more unknown indie talents as well to make names for themselves. So, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting. Ariel Monroe, by the way, is it? I'm pretty sure. I don't remember if it's Ariel Monroe or. I'm pretty sure it's Ariel Monroe is the wife of Cedric Alexander, I believe.
I didn't know that. I believe you, but I did not know that.
Let me just make sure. It's either her or MJ Jenkins. I don't remember which, but I'm pretty sure it's Ariel Monroe. But whoever's in the chat that can correct me if I'm wrong there, please do correct me if I'm wrong. Either way, the opportunities that are presented here for some of the younger and more unknown talents. I am correct. Thank you, Taker. Thank you. The opportunities that are presented here for some of the younger and more unknown talents are not to be missed. And the opportunities for the more well-established talents are going to be capitalized upon, most certainly. Zed, slightly off topic here. How many folks here watched the Women of Honor tournament? I caught bits and pieces of it, Zed. I didn't watch the
I saw the final.
Yes, and you saw the final.
I was in the building for the final.
Yes.
With that weird-ass finish.
Yeah.
That I think somebody screwed up on. You know?
Yeah. It's
yeah, it happens.
It is what it is.
Wrestling, it's live. It happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but it happens.
There were some weird choices. There were definitely some weird choices in that Women of Honor tournament. I can say that for certain. But that is what it is.
Agreed. Yeah, they had Mae with Tommy in the building, and they only had to do one match.
Yeah.
On the pre-show. So
yeah.
Whatever. It's Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor gonna Ring of Honor. So
that they are.
You know.
They are.
Anything else, my friend?
New Japan, Road to Destruction. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shows.
Okay.
Starting next Wednesday, that will take place over the course of 8 days before we get to the first actual Destruction show, which is Destruction in Hiroshima on September 15th.
Which always makes me laugh because I'm immature.
Yeah.
You know,
we're terrible people, by the way, guys.
Destruction in Hiroshima 2. We already had a Destruction in Hiroshima 1.
Oh,
yeah. I'll be here all day. Tip your servers. Try the veal.
Yeah, we're really bad guys, for the record.
We are not good people. But go on.
But a lot of these shows are just tag matches with no real significance to them. But there are a couple of matches here that are
popcorn. They're popcorn matches. You have a bowl of popcorn. You watch them. You turn your brain off. Whatever. But talk about the ones that interest you.
The ones that interest me. So from the September 7th show, so next Friday, September 7th, it'll be about a few hours after we go off air with next week's show. Will be when it takes place. The main event of that September 7th show, which takes place in Tokyo at Karakan Hall. This is a tag match that I'm kind of excited for. Kinda. The Golden Lovers, Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega, versus the Chaos team of Will Ospreay and Tomohiro Ishii. Special tag match, 60-minute time limit.
Is this the beginning of Will's long-awaited move to heavyweight?
I hope so.
So do I. I hope Will and I hope Kushida both become heavyweights.
That I would be on board with that.
And while we're talking about things we hope with New Japan, I hope they consolidate the tag titles. We don't need two groups of tag. We don't need a junior tag title, which is Sho and Yo versus Kanemaru and Desperado at this point over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, just one set of tag champions is enough. You have 4 singles championships, IWGP, Intercontinental, which has been vanished since Dominion, US, and never. I don't need multiple tag titles as well and a junior title. You know, like consolidate some titles, guys.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. Next up, the next night, again at Karakan Hall, the main event, another special tag match with a 60-minute time limit. Very interesting teams here. On one side, the Chaos team of Beretta and Kazuchika Okada on the other side, the Taguchi Japan team of Juice Robinson and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Okay. This is where we ask if Hiroshi Tanahashi is still in Taguchi Japan.
Yes, Hiroshi Tanahashi is still
America's favorite running gimmick.
Yep. Should be an interesting tag match. I'm looking forward to seeing Juice and Okada go head to head with each other because that's always fun.
Always fun.
When Juice and Okada go head to head, it's a great time. The next night in Chiba at Togane Arena, 8-man tag match main event. The Satoshi Kojima comeback match. Manabu Nakanishi, Yuji Nagata, Hiroyoshi Tenzan, and Satoshi Kojima versus David Finlay, Juice Robinson, Togi Makabe, and Tomoaki Honma.
That'll be fun.
That'll be a good one.
Good to have the Bread Club leader back.
Bread Club makes the turn.
I will go to my neighboring bakery and buy a baguette in honor of him.
Oh, screw a baguette. I'm getting a whole roll of French bread, man.
Nice. The whole big roll. I like it.
The big one. The like the foot long.
Yeah. I like it.
Bread Club forever.
All good people should eat some bread in honor of Satoshi Kojima.
Yes. If you are a good, righteous person, get your bread and eat a piece of bread before you go to bed on September 9th. Or I guess it would be September 8th. Or stay up to watch the show, which is Sunday, September 9th, Japan time. And toast your loaf of bread to the television or computer screen in honor of Satoshi Kojima. Nothing really important on the 11th. Nothing really important on the 12th. The 13th is the next one. We have another special 60-minute time limit tag match. A rematch. The Golden Lovers versus Ibushi versus Ishii and Ospreay.
Sure. Great.
So let's do it again. Let's
do it again and again and again.
I cannot say anything bad about that matchup. Really, I can't. And then when we finally get to Destruction and Hiroshima 2. Oh, Zed Sled. You don't know what Bread Club is? Okay, Zed, if you have a Twitter, go find Satoshi Kojima's Twitter. Follow Satoshi Kojima on Twitter. It is the best Twitter follow you can make. Honestly.
All he does is tweet about how much he likes eating bread. It's great.
That's all there is to it, and it's great. So at Destruction in Hiroshima, we have a couple of things of note. First off, we have a never openweight 6-man tag team championship match where my boys, the Gorillas of Destiny, Tamatanga and Tangaloa, along with their hired gun, the Bone Soldier Taiji Ishimori, defend the never openweight 6-man tag titles against the Taguchi Japan team of Ryusuke Taguchi, David Finlay, and Juice Robinson.
Okay.
I think that the Tongans and Ishimori retain.
So do I.
But I think it'll be a good match.
So do I.
I can easily see Juice getting into it with everybody on the Bullet Club side and just being the wonderful Juice Robinson that he is.
Juice being super over. Remember, real quick segue. Remember when Juice first got to Japan and he was like death in terms of crowd likability?
Yeah.
And he was trying everything to get over and it wasn't working. And
that lasted very, very short amount of time, though.
But he put the work in and he got better and his natural charisma took over and he got over and Homeboy's over. The only thing I say, Juice, change your finish. I hate that finish.
You don't like Pulp Friction?
It's too convoluted.
I
like your arms and spin around, and I didn't like it when Christian did it. I don't like it when Juice does it.
I love it. So that's just me. I'm a moves mark. What can I say? Further on down the card, we have ourselves an 8-man tag that I'm actually a big fan of. LIJ, Bushi, Sanada, Evil, and Tetsuya Naito take on El Desperado, Taka Michinoku, Zack Sabre Jr., and Minoru Suzuki. So basically, it's LIJ versus the good parts of Suzuki-gun.
Sweet. Yeah, cool.
On board.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, your reason to tune in, the reason why we are talking about Destruction this early, 3 weeks before it, well, 2 weeks technically before it is happening. The main event of Destruction in Hiroshima. Are you ready for your pants to vacate the state?
I am. Good thing there's no one in my apartment.
Yes. The IWGP Heavyweight Championship is on the line as Kenny Omega takes on Tomohiro Ishii.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is this?
Good times.
The 6th match they've had with
Don't matter. They're all awesome.
They've all been awesome.
Good.
Every time these two face off, it's a must see.
And you know what? Have you noticed since he won the belt, we're getting much more serious Kenny Omega, even by his serious standards?
Yes.
Like we're getting even less of the fuck around Kenny Omega.
Yeah, and I'm on board with that.
Remember a while ago when I compared the IWGP Championship to the Giving Tree, and how the championship itself like transforms you.
Yes,
it's like the One Ring, you know,
one ring to rule them all.
Yeah, it's the One Ring. You know, the One Ring like makes you more paranoid and more evil, even if you're not evil. Yeah. The championship is like that. It just makes you into a more serious, determined, dedicated, focused wrestler. And
but you can't hold it for too long because then you turn into a cocky idiot.
Yeah, then you can't hold it for too long, and then if you hold it for too long and you lose it, you end up playing with children's balloons.
Yeah,
nobody wants that except me. You know. So,
oh my lord, Okada, you beautiful, beautiful man. You beautiful, beautiful man. I can't get enough of Okada.
Like
even when he has the belt, he's still the best.
Chris, it's August 30th, right? We're 12ths of the way through the year. I'm pretty sure he's my wrestler of the year again.
Yep.
Like,
you
know,
make me an argument.
Make me an argument against Kaz Okada being the top of my ballot.
Yeah.
My hypothetical ballot for wrestler of the year. Can't do it.
No.
But Omega's going to win this match, right?
Oh yeah.
That's
no way. I mean, I hate it. Again, I've said how many times now? It is the biggest shame that we have right now is that Tomohiro Ishii remains one of the best wrestlers in the world, and he is in a position where he cannot win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
He'll never get to hold it.
That's too bad. It's both bad and good, to be honest.
Yeah. Because he is just that damn talented, but he's on a roster of performers who are just as talented, if not more so, and who are by and large younger than him as well.
Yeah.
So, while I would love for Ishii to get the belt, I think that his Golden Watch run, the highest he can hope for with his Golden Watch run is the IC belt. Which is unfortunate, but
it is.
That's all right. Make it work. Make it work. And Ishii makes it work every time. This match will probably be about 45 minutes, and every single one of those minutes is going to be goddamn amazing.
And painful.
And painful as hell. Well, Kenny Omega's going to leave that match probably feeling like he's missing 3 of his vertebrae in his neck.
Yeah, he'll lose 2 inches.
Yeah, but, I mean, I'm convinced this is Ishii's quest all along. He has to make everybody else lose their necks because he doesn't have one to begin with.
Exactly. He wants everyone to be necklace in the world.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Not at all, my friend. Do we got anything else?
No.
Hey, not bad.
I will say this though, guys. Before we get into the plugs and all that, as we stated at the top of the show, this is kind of a lull period right now. There's not a whole lot going on in the wrestling world because we're in that post G1 cool off and that post SummerSlam weekend cool off. So next week for episode 73, really the only thing that we really have on tap is a recap of All In, and other than that, there's not a whole lot going on.
Let's talk some football. Fuck it. It's our show.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say is if you guys do have anything you would like us to talk about, discussion topics, anything at all that you guys would like us to discuss, whether it be
maybe let's do a reader Q&A.
Yeah, we can do something like that. Yeah.
Send us questions. Send us questions on Twitter or in the chat. or however you want to contact. Twitter is probably the best bet.
Yeah.
And we will do some deep dives.
Yeah.
Yes,
We'll cover some topics. We'll do some talking. Hit us up, please. It's at 2guys1sport, number 1 in the handle for the Twitter feed, and also on our personal Twitters if you so like, at CrazyChris576 and at GitSavas.
Yeah, let us know if you got anything. Ask us some questions. We'll tell you some answers. It'll be like your show,
exactly,
like a big mailbag show.
Yep. This is the reader submission show.
Yeah.
So anything you guys want to talk about in the world of professional wrestling, and even if you want to talk about some stuff from outside of the world of professional wrestling,
Absolutely.
we can maybe bring some of that stuff in as well.
Absolutely.
So please feel free. Just fill our inboxes with all the great stuff, guys.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are some awesome listeners. I have no doubt that you'll provide some cool questions.
Exactly. Wow. Okay. Wow. So I was just scrolling through my Twitter feed, speaking of Twitter, and a poster just came up for a show run by Adrenaline Championship Wrestling and Big Time Wrestling at the South Hagerstown High School in Hagerstown, Maryland, featuring Big C, formerly known as Big Cass.
So cancer?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Sure. Whatever. Have fun. God bless. Get the hell out of my life.
Yeah.
You know,
this is what happens when you leave WWE in their not so good graces. Is you take up a name that is synonymous with one of the greatest killers in all of medical history. Well done, William. Whatever the hell your name is, I forget what your actual full name is.
I don't care.
Done. You don't care.
Yeah. Plugs,
yes. First of all, we have to express our condolences to the unfortunate end of Wednesday night shooting. Andrew M. Swift has apparently decided that he is going to be retiring from the podcasting realm, as he has just lost his fire for the professional wrestling world, which we completely understand because we've had those moments ourselves. And Andrew, we still are very happy to have had your insight for all the time that you've been part of the fandom, and hopefully if at some point you ever feel like coming back, you were able to come back either through writing or podcasting, one way or another. You're an awesome guy. We're very happy to have had the opportunity to consume your creation as long as we did. And the best of luck to you. You're an awesome dude. We continue to follow you on Twitter because you are just an awesome guy in general. And everybody, go send a tweet to Andrew M. Swift, at Andrew M. Swift, and tell him thank you for all of his time spent podcasting and writing for wrestling and for everything that he's contributed, because it's all been positive. The dude is a standout guy, and if he ever does decide to come back, we will be that much better for it.
And he has an open invite to appear on this show, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. Anytime, Andrew, if you ever want to come on the show, you are more than welcome to do so. You are an awesome dude, and we love your insight, love your takes. Great guy. Happy to announce, though, that taking the place of Wednesday night shooting, Tanya Rogers has tweeted a teaser that she will soon be having a new wrestling podcast entering the podcasting sphere, with two fellow women of color joining her as co-hosts for the show. And it's going to be goddamn amazing. I can already tell. And as soon as we have more info about that, you can be sure we're going to be plugging the hell out of it to tell you guys to go listen to it. Tanya is a great friend of the show. We had her on the show last week. She is also incredibly intelligent and well-spoken and has all the best takes. And we are happy to support anything that she's doing in the wrestling world. So keep your ears open for that. Keep your schedules open. Follow Tanya on Twitter at Militia Malice Joe to keep yourselves appraised of what is going on in her wrestling podcast schedule. And as soon as it becomes publicized, we're going to make it known to everybody to go and listen, because it's going to be worth the listen. Our friends on Saturday mornings, Shooting Debris, in the chat right now, Takers Meaning and Mr. Dr. Senju, both here supporting us, our fellow Los Ingobernables de podcast brethren, supporting each other as we always do. We're happy to have them here in the chat. We're happy to have TM on the show last week. Awesome to have you, Taker. And go and show them some love on Saturday mornings. 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. Get your breakfast, get your graps, listen to Shooting Debris, and get all of your awesome wrestling podcast content with them to start your weekends off right. You can follow them on Twitter at Shootin' Debreeze1. That's at Shootin' Da Breeze, BREEZ1. And you can also follow them on their personal Twitters at Takers_Media and at MRDR Senju. And also on Monday nights, happening at the same time as Monday Night Raw, you have Connoisseurs of Wrestling featuring Taker's Minion, Legends Lover, Biff Kensington III, and the man to my right/left/up/down. He's in cyberspace somewhere. Mr. George Savas.
Last week, we talked the Divas Doom, Chris. Beth Phoenix and Natalya Neidhart.
Very nice.
Yeah, this week we have a surprise. We like to keep things close to the vest. That's Mondays, 8, 7 Central. And we talk all things wrestling history. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. If you are not informed on wrestling history, this is the place to go. I know I learn something new every time I listen to the show.
Well,
I'm not able to catch it live, but when I am able to listen, I always learn something new because I am not as well versed in wrestling history as these great luminaries, and these guys know their shit.
Well, thank you, sir.
Unquestionably. Yeah. 4 great historians of wrestling. Well worth the listen. Go check them out, please. Connoisseurs of Wrestling, Monday nights, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, simultaneous to Raw.
Well, we're way cooler than Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, you'll have much more fun listening to Connoisseurs of Wrestling than you will have watching Monday Night Raw. That is a goddamn guarantee. And finally, of course, last but certainly not least, our brother Don Sal Cusmano with Cedar Bridge Media, bringing you match fixing on a somewhat irregular basis. But I know Don Sal, once his schedule evens out, he will be back to bringing match fixing into the fold on a more regular basis. You can follow him at Cusmano_Sal, and you can follow Cedar Bridge Media at Cedar_Bridge to get all the scoop on match fixing and get all of your takes from Don Sal, who is just as knowledgeable about the professional wrestling realm as us. Very well-spoken man, and awesome stuff on his shows. And George, tell the people about your non-wrestling related podcast ventures, please.
I just did a podcast with Don Sell and Mr. Dr. Senju yesterday. We talked soccer. Yes. We went over all the cool soccer stuff. Little Britain, little France, little Italy, Spain, Champions League, all sorts of fun stuff. It was a lot of fun. I like talking about professional wrestling, but I talk about professional wrestling a lot, so it's always cool to stretch my legs and talk about something different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when I'll next be talking with Philip Becksman, but hopefully soon. Hopefully, maybe this week, maybe next week. But check your local listings.
Yes.
When I have no more information, I'll get it to you.
Absolutely.
Did you do all the plugs?
Last thing to note, guys. We already plugged our Twitters and the show Twitter feed as well. If you can, please also go check us out on iTunes. Follow the link in the description below the video to our iTunes page to subscribe, give us a rating, give us a recommendation, and be sure, of course, as always, to let all of your friends know in the professional wrestling sphere to come check us out on Thursday nights, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, because we love having you guys here. We love having you guys in the chat to talk with us and get your scoops on the wrestling world, especially given that next week will be a reader or viewer read and response show. We especially want to have some fresh faces in the chat if we can as well to get some differing takes. We like having discussions. We like hearing different sides, different opinions always. And we look forward to having you all here back next week for that. And of course, if you were looking for any other non-wrestling related content in addition to George's podcasts about the other professional sports realms, you can, of course, always check me out on twitch.tv as well at twitch.tv/crazychris576 for all of your video game streaming content. We're going to be finishing up the StarCraft 2 story mode campaign this week, either tomorrow night or Saturday, depending on how long it takes us. Hopefully have it finished tomorrow, but if not, definitely on Saturday. And following that, I'm going to be venturing into the Fallout universe for the very first time with a blind playthrough of Fallout New Vegas. I've never played a single Fallout game before. So I'm going to be going into this without any idea of what I'm doing. So please feel free to come on by the channel and check it out to see me bumble my way through Fallout. It should be quite an entertaining time. And given that it is a holiday weekend this weekend, there is a strong likelihood that the streams on Sunday and or Monday will be longer streams. If I'm feeling up to taking longer ventures into Fallout, we'll see how that goes. But keep an eye on my Twitter page and come check out the Twitch feed as well.
You played no Fallout before, ever?
I've never played a single Fallout game before.
Wow. Damn. I gotta watch you. Damn. I'm jealous, man, that you get to experience that for the first time.
This is going to be interesting. I have
cool.
no frame of reference, so
that's very cool.
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's that, guys. Again, next week, episode 73, viewer read and response. Hit us up on Twitter with your topics of discussion that you would like us to go over, and be sure to be here next week because we will be talking to you guys a whole heck of a lot more than we already do, because we want all of your opinions and takes. So be here for it. George, take us home, please.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, a sincere thank you for choosing to spend some time with us. Y'all make this show worth doing, and there's no two ways about it. Be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Don't work yourself into a shoot. Ask us questions for next week. Thank you for starting your weekend with us. That's Chris. I'm George. You're listening to Two Guys, One Sport. Have a great night, everybody.
Episode 72 is in the books.